skill on this time on a three-man rush. Gonna backpedal, buy more time. Gotta be somebody open now, yes? Yes, there is! Like I said, another three-man rush right here.
Hello and welcome in. Good God Almighty, it is finally time. The big game is here. Can I say Super Bowl?
I think you just can't use it for paid marketing.
Great, because we don't get paid to do this podcast. We're just here for Skittles and fun. I'm your host, Pat Bradley, joined as always by my friends and co-hosts, Carl Mann and Tommy Sullivan. And this is the Super Bowl Super Edition of the Three-Man Rush podcast, America's most beloved casual NFL gambling podcast from the greatest gamblers on planet Earth. Carl,
Thank you.
Tommy, Super Bowl Sunday is upon us. Let's ride. How are we feeling?
Let's ride. Sean
feel
Payton,
great.
Sean Payton, let's ride.
No personal coaches on this podcast. Not allowed.
I like how in the same interview he was just like, no, I'm not a tyrant. I don't know where I get that rumor comes from. Also, if you have personal trainers, get the fuck out.
It's incredible. Truly incredible. I cannot contain my excitement. I like before the show even started, we were talking and I was telling you like how overwhelming it is with the sheer number of props. Like what was I sent you guys a text. There was like over 2,000 ways to bet on the Super Bowl at like, I don't know, like MGM or something at some major book. And I was like, oh my God, world's longest podcast incoming. Spoiler alert. I don't think we could possibly hit every single prop if we wanted to, but we're not going to. We're just going to run through. We're going to hit our favorites. We're going to kick things off a little bit of a different format here. Okay. So let's just kind of walk through what we're going to do. Last week, we talked a lot about the conference championship games. We talked a lot about this, that, and the other thing, football related. We wanted to save some of the game analysis for this week as stories came out, injury updates happened, all those fun things, any line movement, all that stuff. So we are going to start. We're going to preview the game, and we are going to make our picks. Pick them, stick them, and then we've got a bonus just to make sure that there are no ties. We need a winner on this podcast. We might have a little promotional fun play along with us. And, well, we didn't talk about this before the podcast, but who knows? If we get enough people to enter, not if we don't, we'll decide before you enter, but we might throw some real life Skittles to a winner.
If only 5 people send us money, we're just keeping the fun.
We're keeping it. And what are you gonna do? Sue a podcast that makes no money? Go ahead. No, just kidding. Don't. Please. No. So we might do a fun little play along. I think we'll do that. If we do, it's 1,000% going to be announced on our social media channel. Do I just say like we're going to do it right now?
Yeah, 100%.
Lovely. Keep an eye on the Three-Man Rush Instagram
Paid prize
at Three-Man Rush. Spell it out, all letters, no numbers. That's where we will tell you how you can join. And if you're listening to this, you probably know us, but we'll give you the information on Instagram as well. So if you want to join, you can find a way to get us, email us, send us in your little game slip. We're just going to pick props and see who gets the most right. And then maybe somebody gets some Skittles. Maybe Skittles sponsors us. Maybe Marshawn Lynch comes on the podcast. It's the most wonderful time of the year.
And that's when we start calling it the big game and not the Super Bowl.
Exactly. So bring on the sponsors. Skittles. What's up, baby? How we doing?
Taste the rainbow.
I said that like it was like the green M&M.
Oh, we can't
just mixing up my candies.
We're not doing M&M, spokesperson and conspiracy theories anymore.
No. Okay.
First commercial. Is it going to be M&Ms or Doritos?
Ooh, or Mountain Dew.
Ooh.
Or Budweiser. Budweiser likes to save it until later.
Guys, it's going to be Apple Music.
What's the first official commercial? Like, at what point do they consider it the first commercial? Is it like once the game starts, the very first commercial after the start of the game, or like once they start doing like pre-game stuff? I don't know. We'll have to look into it.
It's
I
a
would
really
say
good
first-
question.
So kickoff is 6:30. I would say first commercial after 6:30, regardless of whether kickoff happens or not.
Right. Well, but then like if you pay for a commercial between the national anthem and kickoff, do you pay as much money for that spot as like after kickoff? And then does
Yes.
that
Yes,
does that
'cause that's what that-
affect?
Because they know when eyes are tuned in, and they're tuned in for the national anthem.
But then does that affect the betting odds if it's after kickoff? Like, but you're still paying $3 million for a 30-second spot. In theory, that should be the first commercial for betting odds, right?
Well, that's why I said because the national anthem will be at 6:30, and it's when the game it's the first commercial after the advertised time, which is 6:30.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
I would guess. I said that with complete confidence, and I have like 85% confidence.
I think the national anthem is going to be before 6:30 because they usually kick off at 6:30, and I think there will be a commercial between. That's where my head's at.
That makes sense. So maybe you're right.
Um,
Maybe I just walked myself into a corner.
Is this year? I just found a random website that's probably giving me, I don't know, a virus right now. But which commercial will appear first? All right, we're adding this into our props. Amazing. We're adding it in there. I don't really like it. Okay. For the rest of it, we're gonna make our picks. We're gonna do our preview. We're gonna make our picks, and then that's when the fun starts. The parlay party just turns into the prop party because really, like when your team's not in the Super Bowl, the props are where the fun is at, right? It's just like fantasy football. It's dumb stuff. It's degenerate paradise is what it is. And that is this podcast in a nutshell. So we're going to go through all the props about the game, props not about the game. We're going to have a lot of fun with it. And then darkness is on the horizon. And maybe we'll do one more podcast to wrap up the year.
I'm surprised that you don't think darkness is already on the horizon, considering your beloved is hanging him up.
Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.
Yes.
Yeah, it's it was great that we spent about 30 minutes talking about him last week for him to retire literally before 8 a.m. the next morning before
less than 24 hours.
Yeah. That was a tough day. Listen, I'm gonna save any and all Tom Brady talk for next week because it's not like I ever go long talking about Tom Brady, right?
No, he's dropping thirst traps already.
We'll have a whole podcast to recap the season and future offseason moves. So
yes.
All right. Here's my prop, and then we can stop talking about him. Will Tom Brady show his pee-pee on a commercial in the Super Bowl? Because he covered it in his thirst trap on Twitter and Instagram. And then Julian Edelman made a video and was like, Tom, move the hand. Show us what's hanging. Come on. Which was literally the funniest video I think I've seen. Are we going to get a Brady brand commercial in the Super Bowl with Tom in his undies?
most likely.
What network is hosting the Super Bowl?
Fox.
Okay,
Actually.
then yeah, that's I wouldn't surprise me.
I would say yes to the Brady brand commercial. I think that, well, probably no. It's a lot of money, but I like for fun, I would say yes, but no Tom and his undies, unless we just want to go full humor, which I think we should do.
Is he gonna somehow get worked into the Gronk promotion at halftime?
Is he gonna run out in those same undies?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, it's
on the
through
field at the
FanDuel.
Super Bowl? Can you imagine the greatest quarterback of all time just retires and then runs onto the field in his underpants? I feel like that's too far for Brady to fall.
Yeah, no, I wasn't thinking he would do it in his underwear, but do you think like now that he's a free man, he goes out and like is a part of that FanDuel thing? I mean, he probably has no association with FanDuel, but like it's Gronk, so the kick of destiny. You know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Like, will he hold the kick for Gronk?
No, he won't be there.
That would be amazing if he did.
True.
I'll be the cold water guy here.
It would be a retirement Tom Brady thing to do, right?
Nah.
Just keep yourself in the spotlight a little bit.
Nah,
it sounds like we're talking about Aaron Rodgers, but
yeah, I know he's. I think he's not even starting his. I like how we're already talking about Tom Brady, even though we're not supposed to be. He's not starting his broadcast career until 2024, so he's taking a break. I think. I don't think he wants to be anywhere near football for a little bit, and I don't blame him.
Fair. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Lovely. Then what do we say? We just dive right in and start talking about this football game.
Fantastic.
Yeah, we can distract Carl from the bad hockey results that are happening right now.
You gotta love when degenerate football starts betting on degenerate other things because football's almost over. It's great. Good job by you. Okay. First things first. Super Bowl 57 this Sunday, February 12th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern kickoff at State Farm Stadium in Arizona. The line opened at Eagles by 2.5. It moved to Eagles by 1.5. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that's where it is still today. Correct?
Yeah.
Eagles by 1.5.
They really missed a good branding opportunity to call that Stadium Farm.
Do you care to elaborate?
Instead of State Farm Stadium, it's just Stadium Farm.
Yeah, I love that insurance brand, Stadium Farm.
Well, listen, I maybe this is the old guy in me, but I grew up and you like all the names of places were like, yeah, all the names of places were like good, like instead of just like, I mean, there were some branded that were pretty good, like Westfield was good, but like now it's just like, can you name like any stadiums?
Yeah,
Qualcomm in San Diego.
The Fleet Center was such a great name back in your day.
Gone.
And Foxborough Stadium,
Lincoln Financial Field,
FedEx Forum.
It's all the same script now.
The Crypto.com Arena.
Yeah,
listen,
that's the one.
Did you?
No, my favorite though is like they keep like Arrowhead Stadium, but it's like whatever it is, like QEHA Field, G, whatever it is, like
like GEHA,
because of General Electric,
yeah. So and then like Mile High Stadium, but like it's changed. It's been Mile High Stadium, but it's like Sports Authority Field or like
like Buffalo was like, I don't think it's new, but it was like New Era Field at Ralph Wilson Stadium.
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, you get the naming rights, but not really. We just want you to pay us, and we're gonna keep the name.
Well, that was like when the Chiefs won the AFC Championship game. When they on the Chiefs website when they printed the graphics of the player quotes, like one of them was talking about Arrowhead, and in the player quote they put parentheses of Arrowhead GEFA Stadium when he clearly didn't say that in the quote.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's really funny.
Marketing
sorry, that's my fault.
No, it's fine.
Do you remember when between Foxborough Stadium and Gillette for the entire offseason and while they were building it was CMGI Field, and all of a sudden like they dropped out because they went bankrupt. That's how Gillette bought it, and now they've had the most successful team. Yeah, home stadium.
That's a good call.
I actually had no recollection of that.
Yeah, that was before you were a Patriots fan. I forgot.
Rude.
Tom Brady was only a year in.
You're right. Listen,
it was a backup.
I watched Tom Brady at Foxborough Stadium.
Backup Brady.
No, year one was at Foxborough. But am I wrong? They moved into Gillette after the Super Bowl.
Correct. It was the last. They won the last season there.
Right. Okay. Well, anyway, it's at State Farm Stadium, not Stadium Farm.
It's a much better, memorable marketing name, if you ask me.
Quite a detour. We are off the rails early in this podcast. All right. Couple of fun facts for you to set the stage for this game. Okay. At a combined age of 51 years and 337 days old on Super Bowl Sunday, Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts will be the youngest two Super Bowl starting quarterbacks of all time, combined youngest quarterback matchup ever. Probably skewed the last decade or so because old man Tom Brady's been in a bunch of them.
And
Peyton Manning, exactly. But two young guys, which maybe this is the official, passing of the torch here. This stat was crazy to me. There's a lot of crazy stats in this game. Total seconds spent trailing this postseason. Chiefs, 0. Eagles, 0. Neither team has been behind in a game since week 17. All these courtesy of our friend who doesn't know us, Field Yates at ESPN. Great stats over on Twitter. And then this one, like the script is just, I don't know. Like, do we have a glitch in the matrix? It's crazy. The Chiefs this year, 16-3 overall record. The Eagles this year, 16-3 overall record. Chiefs this year, number 1 seed. Eagles this year, number 1 seed.
Who saw that?
Chiefs this year, 6 All-Pros. Eagles this year, 6 All-Pros. Among those All-Pros on both teams, a Kelsey brother and the quarterback. This one blew my mind. Points scored. Chiefs, 546. Eagles, 546. There's another number in this that I'm going to tell you later on in the props that also blew my mind because the whole, like, the NFL is scripted with Arian Foster. I'm starting to believe it. So that sets the stage. Carl, you're the DVOA guy. Tell me, it sounds like these teams are pretty evenly matched here from my preview. So walk us through DVOA. What do we have for total DVOA for the Eagles and the Chiefs? What do we have for offense? What do we have for defense?
Yeah, so let me give you like offense, defense first, because I have that right here available. So for offensive pass DVOA, Philadelphia rates at 24.3, Kansas City rates at 40.8. So, I mean, I think eye test, even like you can say, like, if you were going to pick a team to throw the ball, you'd probably pick Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Do we agree?
Absolutely.
100%. The numbers don't lie. Still on the offensive side of the ball for rushing, Philadelphia rates at 17.9 and Kansas City rates at 0.1. So again, eye test, who's running the ball better?
I'm pretty surprised that Philly's number is actually that low.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess they have a lot of big rushing games, like a lot of yards, but also like they're in situations where they're running the ball more often. Does that make sense?
Right. Yep, absolutely.
I mean, you would assume. Total DVOA. Philadelphia is actually ranked 3rd at 25.2. Kansas City is ranked 4th at 23.3. Actually, I'm sorry. That's for the regular season. Let me do regular season plus playoffs. We'll see what that pulls out.
Eagles are going to skyrocket.
Total DVOA is 29.5 for Philadelphia, and Kansas City is 24.7. But weighted DVOA, Kansas City is actually higher at 34.4, with Philadelphia at 28.9. So weighted, Philadelphia is actually a little bit lower. So,
which just plays into the Chiefs have had a harder schedule, although not much harder, but a harder schedule.
Yeah, and like we talked about it a little bit last week, I believe, on the podcast, but I was saying that we can't take anything away from Philadelphia's season. They played against the teams that they were set to play. And again, we talk about DVOA being about their performance against like teams in that situation, and they overperform. It's not like they're underperforming against bad teams. They're still taking care of business like the right way.
Right.
However, I was curious to see like if they get down in the Super Bowl against a good team like Kansas City, how do they handle that adversity? I mean, if they're up the whole game, then we're talking about the team that they've been all season, but they haven't had to really face anyone. Not, there's going to be outliers in the situation, but they really didn't face anyone having the worst strength of schedule season, the easiest strength of schedule season, and then going through 2 really bad teams. Not that San Francisco's a bad team, but they just had a really bad circumstance in the playoffs to get to this point. Whereas you look at who Kansas City plays during the season, the teams that they play, the quality of teams, the games that they play, and it's just totally different from Philadelphia. So,
yeah, the quarterbacks that the Eagles have faced, and I think this is 100% kind of where, I mean, it plays into the bad schedule, but it also plays into the DVOA. The 3 best quarterbacks that the Eagles have faced since like week 4 are Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott, and Daniel Jones. Dak Prescott and Aaron Rodgers lit up the Eagles. Didn't necessarily win those games, but both had very good games. So
the only game the Eagles really lost was against the Commanders.
Right.
Their other games were meaningless games for the most part.
Right. So I do think it's going to be interesting. Right? Like this is not like, I don't think this is saying much because Patrick Mahomes is arguably the best quarterback in the NFL today. For my money, I think he is. But he's far and away the best quarterback they've faced. And I don't know if they faced anybody like, I don't think the Eagles have faced anybody even close to a Patrick Mahomes all season, right? Like the Chiefs have faced Justin Herbert. They've played Joe Burrow. They've played Josh Allen twice.
Yep.
They played all those guys twice, right? Right there, that's a handful of like serious tested metal, right? But the Eagles, I don't know, like Dak Prescott twice, Daniel Jones twice. That's kind of like the hardest competition you face in the quarterback position. So I think like that's kind of where it's going to come down to. Carl, can you give me the defense DVOA really quick too? Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say off of that too. Not only like best quarterback, but like they don't face coaches that like are that good either. Like they don't go against like Andy Reid type.
For coaches. As much as none of us like Andy Reid, he's still in the upper echelon of coaches in the
NFL. Defensive pass DVOA, Philadelphia is really good. They're minus 19.1. Kansas City is 3.5. For rush DVOA, they're both very similar. Philadelphia is at minus 3.9, and Kansas City is actually a little bit better than them at minus 4.5.
And for the listeners, the lower the number for defense for DVOA, the better.
Right.
So a drastic difference in the Philadelphia secondary versus Kansas City, and then relatively equal on the rush defense for DVOA.
Right. For like total defensive DVOA, Philadelphia is in third at minus 12.5, and Kansas City is kind of middle of the pack at 0.5, like even 0.5. So again, that's regular season and playoffs, but it just really depends on game flow and what teams are looking to do here. And again, we'll see what we all think. I don't want to give anything away just yet until we start talking about it, but we'll see how things play out.
I don't disagree with what you guys are saying. I just looked at Daniel Jones's stats just to like gauge if he was like truly like if it's like him being the third best quarterback that they face is like a bad thing or not. He had like a better year than most people are giving him credit for.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely did. I mean, a lot of credit to Brian Daboll, who found a way to utilize him. It's not necessarily to like totally shit on Daniel Jones or the Eagles, although it is totally for me to shit on the Eagles. But I don't know. When you think of good quarterbacks, Daniel Jones isn't what comes to mind in like the top 10. Right.
But we're crediting the coach there?
I think so.
So maybe they have faced Andy Reid echelon coach.
I think Brian Daboll is probably among the best coaches that they faced this season. He might be the best. Yeah. Without looking at the schedule off the top of my head, I would say Brian Daboll probably the best coach they face.
Their next closest quarterback comp besides Rodgers and Prescott is probably Kirk Cousins. So you're right on that they haven't played any good quarterbacks.
Even in the Super Bowl, you got to kick me when I'm down. I still haven't recovered. I mean, fair enough. You know, listen, Brian Daboll, Daniel Jones must be pretty good because they beat Kirk Cousins. That's what it comes down to. So
I just wanted to get those points. I don't necessarily disagree with you guys. I just had to play devil's advocate real quick.
Fair enough. All right. Well, Tommy, while you're chatting here, walk us through the game script because we're gonna start off with our picks. I'm not gonna put you on the spot just yet, but like walk me through. What do you think? I mean, how does this game play out?
I think that this is actually going to run very similar. This Eagles team reminds me a lot of the early iterations of the Patriots, like that first dynasty they went through at the beginning of the millennium. This Eagles team is built on a four-headed, if you count Jalen Hurts, four-headed running back committee. All four of them are quality runners as well. And they have a really, really good defense from the defensive line to probably the best secondary in football. And I mean, give Patrick Mahomes all the credit in the world because he has no help outside of Kelsey. Out wide, they're a talent bereft at the receiver position. But I think that this is the matchup where it's going to feed right into. He's not going to have like Eli Apple defending one of his receivers that he knows that he can just throw them and they'll burn Eli Apple.
Right.
So I not to tip my pick, but I think that this is just going to be one of those classic grinded out Super Bowls where one team that matches the color of my hat might probably pull away a little bit.
It's a nice hat.
Thanks. Thank you. Specific.
Best team in basketball. Best team in basketball.
Go Souths. Okay, Carl, what are you thinking?
Patrick Mahomes is an elite quarterback, and even if he doesn't have any weapons outside of Travis Kelce, he can make things happen. He can put people in good positions, and Andy Reid has 2 weeks to prepare for this Eagles defense. And I said it a couple of weeks ago when they had their bye going into the playoffs that give Andy Reid 2 weeks and he'll come up with a game plan to give his team the best opportunity to win. And, there was I think it was Brandon Ayuk, maybe someone from San Francisco said if they have everyone and they have a quarterback, then they're going to tear this Eagles apart because that's what they wanted to do before they lost both their quarterbacks, was to
just attack,
implement a certain type of game plan. So again, Andy Reid is one of the best coaches. I think they've got a lot of speed on that field, and it's going to be whatever they can to get the ball in open space. So maybe it's a matter of changing up what they've done all season and putting in some newer plays that Philadelphia hasn't seen from them to get their guys in the right spots. But again, they don't have any. It's weird that they don't have many big name people right now. I mean, we're used to the Chiefs lighting it up on offense, but they're kind of down to their backups and wide receivers. And I mean, they have a rookie at running back who's seeing most of the snaps. And obviously Travis Kelce is getting 15 targets a game, which is where a lot of their offense funnels through. So if I'm the Eagles, I try and shut down Kelce, but if you put two people on Kelce and you leave all those speed guys one-on-one, then it does create some problems, could create some problems or mismatches. So,
well, and to that point, and like Tommy, you comp this to like the Eagles to a Patriots team. And I keep going back to the Chiefs as a Patriots team as well. And obviously, like, I mean, I don't think anybody that listens to this is not a Patriots fan. So like, you can roll your eyes if you want to, but you don't need to roll your eyes because you guys are Patriots fans too. So this comp makes sense for us. I mean, I said this a couple weeks ago. This felt like Patrick Mahomes is like 2006 Patriots with Rashae Caldwell as the number one wide receiver. That's inexact because you have Travis Kelce, and there was nobody, I don't think, on that Patriots 06 team that comped was even nearly as good as Travis Kelce. So maybe the answer is more like, I don't know, the 2019 Patriots in Brady's final year, right? Which is like a defense that is like good enough, not amazing, aging, not, you know what I mean? Like in transition, I think is the better term. And then you've got like one maybe great receiver and a bunch of players who are being elevated by the coaching and by the quarterback. And that's where Patrick Mahomes is. But then the other piece that I thought of, like when you're saying, okay, well, like they don't really have like the star power in that offense after Mahomes and Kelce, it's very much reminded me of like when we look at a guy like Brandon LaFell or Danny Amendola, right? Or like David Givens or pick a Patriot of old, right? Who kind of like ascends to a semi-national platform. Like people know their name because of the team success. Whereas like if like Deion Branch is the great example, right? Like star wide receiver for the Patriots goes to Seattle and is like, not that great. And then winds up back here eventually after kind of bouncing around and then finishes his career here. That's where the Chiefs are. It's like the role players on offense who are elevated by having the best quarterback in football and one of the best offensive coaches in terms of scheme ever, right? So, and then they're going against the defense, which, you know, to your point about, you know, can they get shred by a real offense? Maybe. We don't know yet, but I don't think they've faced one, right? But the Cowboys was the closest that. No Jalen Hurts, no Lane Johnson, but that defense, Jalen Hurts and Lane Johnson don't play defense, and that Cowboys team lit them up and couldn't score in the playoffs against the 49ers. So, you know, I just And then the Packers being the other one, right? Like the Packers, we know, like we hated them all year except for Carl, who loved them until he didn't. My point is, what is this? Is the defense as good as we think it is? And that's where I'm hung up. And I'll give it back to you guys. That's where I'm hung up because I'm torn. Like the Eagles are in the Super Bowl. I should believe in the Eagles at this point. But I've told you guys many times, I said it last week, I've been at the point where like I don't believe in the Eagles yet because they have not faced any kind of tough competition. And now they face the toughest quarterback they could possibly face in the game today. Go ahead.
So I swear to God, I'm not going back to this just because it's you. But I like that. I swear that Vikings game in week 2, they held the Vikings to under 75 yards rushing as a whole. Kirk Cousins went 27 of 46 with 3 interceptions. The leading receiver was Adam Thielen with 52 yards. Justin Jefferson was held to 48 yards.
Yeah, he was awful in that game.
Yeah. So they've shut down legitimate offenses.
Fair enough. So that's the closest we've seen.
Well,
I'd have to insult Kirk Cousins to go along any further with this.
I swear to God, I didn't pick that up. I picked it up because they were probably the closest thing to a legitimate offense.
No, it's fair. It's fair.
Well, Kirk Cousins and the Minnesota Vikings had the most one-score games, and the second highest one-score game team was the Kansas City Chiefs.
So are you telling me that there's a little bit of luck involved with Kansas City to this point?
I'm not necessarily saying that because they were also
But
like,
you're not saying that.
Because the DVOA at least backs up the Chiefs. The DVOA did not back up the Vikings.
to me, I feel like the
Fair.
Chiefs one-score games were backdoor cover type deals, not necessarily like winning tight games.
Like when they were up 27-0 against the Broncos, and then the Broncos covered in essentially a one-score game.
Exactly.
Right, yeah, like I mean, a one-score game is a one-score game, but they look a whole lot different.
It's like I said going into the playoffs. They are where the Warriors were as recently as like these last couple of years, where it's like they know they're going to have to make the playoffs. They can sleepwalk through a regular season and turn it on in the playoffs and get to work in January. And they're pretty sure that's what they've been doing.
So then, how does this game play out? What's the script to steal the phrase this week? I mean, okay, so we know that the Eagles have a high-powered rushing attack with great outside deep threats at the receiver position that helps Jalen Hurts look like a real quarterback, which I'm not even saying that to insult him. I do think he's taking a step up, right? But it helps when you have that run game and you have to respect that run game, and then it's essentially like an RPO play action offense where you just chuck the ball deep to 2 really great deep receivers, young, talented, speedy, right? Versus a defense that is young and makes mistakes, but I think I was going to say is better against the run. And I guess looking at the DVOA, that's true in the Chiefs, right? They're definitely better against the run than they are against the pass in the DVOA. And then on the other side, it's an Eagles pass defense, which has been very good. I don't remember if you said where they were ranked. Overall, they're third, but I don't remember if you said where the pass was ranked, Carl. But minus 19.1 is a pretty hefty number, right? So, but we also told you a week or two ago, like leading into the conference championship games, that the Eagles defense, when there's any kind of motion before the snap, like suddenly falls to 22nd in the league. I don't think the Chiefs necessarily have the weapons to attack that defense in the same way that a 49ers team would have or a Bengals team would have, but they do have Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, and there are ripple effects to everything else. And maybe the best part about Mahomes, which is what I think part of what makes him great when he is tuned in and not being stupid, because he makes a lot of stupid decisions because, to your point, Tommy, the game is so easy to him. He just wants to move the ball forward. So he's not afraid to take that 4 or 5 yard check down versus just chucking it. The ball's going to move, and then all of a sudden you're racking up yards against Isaiah Pacheco and Jerick McKinnon and Juju and whoever else, right? So I don't know. What's more likely to break? That's my question for you guys. What's going to break first?
I don't know. I really think that the Eagles are in a prime spot to break because they haven't had to face a test all season. And again, like I really think that I mean the Brock Purdy injury is huge, but I also think like hindsight's 2020. But if they challenge the catch on the goal line, that definitely would have been overturned if they had that angle. That is that was a fourth down play. I'm talking the Eagles 49ers game.
Mm-hmm.
The 49ers challenge it. They win the challenge. The Eagles turn over the ball on that play because it was a fourth down play. They don't get that touchdown right there to get the lead. Again, we don't know anything else that's going to happen in the game, but I think that if San Francisco gets that ball, they are now with their possession. They could go down and score. Philadelphia has to play from behind. We get to see what they look like playing against like a good team from behind. I would have liked to have seen that, and it would have given me more confidence in the Eagles going into this game. But because they didn't have to do that, I mean, we can only go on their track record. But at the same time, like the Chiefs are a different team, a really good team. They've been here before over the last handful of years. And, you know, not to count out the Eagles because they were here a couple of years ago also in their own right, like a handful of years ago. But the Chiefs are constantly here. You know, the Eagles had to work their way back here. So I think, again, the Eagles are the ones that are primed to break. But we'll see what happens on Sunday night because they might not have an opportunity to beat from behind.
Yeah, we will see. I'm gonna have to take the opposite side of you, Carl. I just look at it simply enough, like even with the like when a play breaks down, Patrick Mahomes' his think on the fly skills are unmatched probably in NFL history. And then you have like you guys said, you have Andy Reid being able to scheme up stuff. But when things break down in one thing, like if say the Eagles are able to blanket Kelsey and that connection breaks down, what is Kansas City's backup plan? Like what is their like go-to backup plan after that? Whereas like the Eagles, they just have a deeper offense where it's like if Miles Sanders isn't running well, they have rushing packages with Boston Scott. They have rushing packages with Kenneth Gainwell. They can set it up with what is probably going to be the illegal offensive line formation where three guys push Jalen Hurts over the end line or the first down marker. If AJ Brown is getting blanketed, they can feature Devonta Smith. They can feature Dallas Goedert. And I just think that it's easier to break down Kansas City's offensive game plan than it would be Philadelphia's because they can run at you from so many different angles. Whereas like if that one connection for Kansas City breaks down, it's like an inverse pyramid where like if that one thing breaks down, the entire thing could crumble.
It's fair. And you know, to your point about taking out Mahomes, which like if it's not working for Mahomes, what do? Like you just keep throwing it with Mahomes. Like you're not going to turn around and just start handing the ball up the middle to Isaiah Pacheco. I don't think that's the answer. It's not their strength. It's not what they do. We saw the 0.1 offensive rushing DVOA for Kansas City. So, I mean, it comes down to the trenches, right? Eagles are phenomenal on both sides of the ball. Eagles are phenomenal on both sides of the ball. Chiefs, not as good, but still very good, right? So can that Kansas City defense break through? But really more importantly, can that Kansas City offensive line hold up against the Philadelphia defensive line?
Mm-hmm.
Because if they can, that's when I think things get weird, right? If that offensive line, and that's really where I think the key to the game is, that's where it's going to be won. It's all about the Kansas City offensive line because once you have time, that's where like I think Darius Slay could have 3 interceptions and win Super Bowl MVP in this game. But I also think he's primed to get punked on national television with the world watching, right? So where the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes thrive is in that like mental connection they have on offense where they're extending plays, they're scrambling, ankle or not, right? We haven't even talked about Mahomes' ankle, and I'm just kind of considering it a non-factor based on how he played in the conference championship game, and now that he's had an extra 2 weeks to heal. So I'm throwing that out the window. But that's where I think to Carl's point, that's where it's prime for a breakdown. So that's my matchup, right? It's the Eagles defensive line against the Chiefs offensive line, and that will dictate the outcome of this game. And as soon as the Eagles get a lead, and frankly, they're not afraid to do it without a lead, they're going to run the damn ball down Kansas City's throat.
Mm-hmm.
And then just when you think that they couldn't possibly, throw it again, they're going to hit AJ Brown for a 48-yard touchdown or Devonta Smith for 57 yards down the left side. You know what I mean? So that's the key matchup to me. Weirdly, do you guys think there's going to be a lot of points? We're kind of just like jumping into our totals here, but like, do you think there's going to be better question? Did you see on Twitter that the game script got leaked? Did you see that going around?
I saw that.
The Pro Football Reference page of the Super Bowl, spoiler alert, said the Eagles are going to win 37-34.
It's a high scoring game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I don't know. Like, let's use that imaginary meme as a jumping off point. Can you see 71 points being scored in this game?
No. I think this is looking more like a 24-17-ish type of game.
So we're not going to have a redux of Brady, best quarterback in football, against the Eagles losing, what was it, like 41-33? Something like that?
I would say the over under for me tops out at 55. Like that's the higher end of total points in this game.
Okay. So it comes down to the defenses, which in theory sounds like the Eagles defensive line wins that battle.
Maybe.
Carl, what do you think?
No comment.
All right. Well, now that we're all just hiding, keeping our hands played very closely to our chests here. I mean, I don't know. Do you guys have anything else that you want to run through, or should we just make our picks?
I say we dive into the picks. Let's go over if we want to go over our postseason record so far, so we can see what we're looking at going into the Super Bowl. I guess we can, but if we don't want to, we don't have to. One of us will just mention it just to.
Tommy, why don't you do the honor of walking us through our postseason record here?
Absolutely, I will. And I'm just going in order from left to right of what we have on our grid here.
Oh, great. Okay. Yeah.
We're going to start off with you, Pat. Who? Hey, no, it's not a bad thing. You have a 19-16-1 record. You're in the green right now. That's pretty good.
I'm in the green.
You have a chance to extend that to 22-16-1. That's pretty good if you ask me. Carl right now has those 22 wins. He's 22-13-1. He has a chance to go up to 25-13-1 if he hits all three of his picks. We'll see. And I'm at the top here with 26-9-1. I can't get 30, which I'm upset about, but I can preserve a single-digit loss postseason, which would be incredible. But that's what's at stake for all three of us.
Wait. Sorry, breaking news. Is that a bonus picks music I hear? Oh my god, guys! Tommy,
I can get 30.
Tommy Sullivan has a chance. Tommy Sullivan has a chance, folks, to hit 30. Carl has a chance to win. I am here for the party. I tried. All right.
You get that second place out of 2 trophy.
For
second place out of 2.
For the counting stats, I'm going to keep mine as the 3 because I if I do any more than 3, then I'm definitely getting double-digit losses, and I don't want
that. Sure, you can make up your own rules, but spoiler alert, here's what we agreed to last week because Tommy did agree to this, and I heard it. It's live. You can go back and listen too. Just to make sure that we don't have any tiebreakers here. We're not just going to pick the winner of this game. We're not just going to pick against the spread, and we're not just going to pick the total. We're doing all 3 of those, and we are picking the MVP of the Super Bowl.
That's right.
Carl, you did say Tommy has to go first. So let me just ask you, are there parameters? Like, is this a draft for MVP? Or can we all take the same player? I think we should take the same player. But I think you want to draft because
I don't think Tommy and I are going to pick the same person anyway.
I don't think we are either.
Yeah, and I think in third place I'm gonna get screwed. So
You can go first.
not that it matters.
Yeah, we can go. We can do like the NFL draft. You have the worst record, so you get the first pick.
Rude.
You can have the whole board.
I just want to state that when I agreed to this, I also said last week that if we do MVP, it shouldn't count as a loss for any of us because we're picking from a wider field than like one
Correct.
or two options
Yeah.
Oh, so it doesn't count as a loss.
for any of us. But if you get it right, it's 5 points.
5 points or 1 point?
I think it
Carl
should
said
be
5 points. Carl, you did say 5 points,
I made up
Yeah.
the rules as I went.
which means I could win.
The points
if I
are made
get it
up.
right.
The,
That's
wait,
what I'm
the rules
saying.
the rules are made up, and the points don't matter.
We all
Okay.
get the glory. None of us get the.
Girl.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So for the real stats, so we don't get a loss in the MVP. It's just a bonus.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. You want me to go first?
Sure.
So
Are you
to
picking
recap-
the MVP or the game?
I say we just do all 4 at once.
Yeah, I'm just gonna make my picks. Can somebody help me out here because I'm spinning wheel of death here. Can we confirm our total? Never mind, I got it. Okay, so the Eagles are favored by 1.5 in this game. The total is up to 51 points. Over under 51. That's our official number here. Okay.
God
How about
damn it.
50.5?
No.
No, sorry. I'm just going by our friends at DraftKings.
So we could push.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Listen, bet the push. That's a theme of the season. How does that even happen?
I mean,
27,
I said 24-17, which is
did.
how it happens.
which is 41.
Oh,
That's not how it happens.
27-24 though.
Tommy, don't you do math for a living? Jesus Christ.
I input numbers. I don't add them together.
Hey,
All right.
Tommy, I need you to send me a wire for $100 so I can maybe receive $1 million. Carry the one. That's
Put the decimal place over here.
Okay. Fine. On the spot. I gotta go down with the ship, man. I am taking the best quarterback in football. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes. I'm taking the 1.5 points, taking him to cover. I'm taking them to win. And I am gonna go with the over. I'm gonna go over 51. That's my official pick. Do you want me to make my MVP right now, right here, right now?
You
Hit us
should,
with
yeah.
it.
I mean, there's no reason to go with anybody other than Patrick Mahomes.
Absolutely correct.
True. If you think the Chiefs are gonna win, you should probably just bet Patrick
Yeah,
Mahomes.
You don't want to galaxy brain yourself into a hole there. So
Can we
that's
can we
where
talk
I'm
about
from.
this for 1 second?
No,
If you
because
want
we
to.
still have to pick.
Okay, Tom Brady has won 7 Super Bowls and he has 5 Super Bowl MVPs. The 2 times that he didn't win MVP
It was a receiver.
was a receiver because they had incredible games, right? Deion Branch had what, like 11 catches, and then it was
Edelman.
it was Edelman. How many catches did Edelman have in that game? Because I was watching like the highlights from that Falcon Super Bowl the other day, and James White had like, did he have 3 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns? It's incredible that I think he had like 14 catches. It's incredible.
I'm gonna
that
fact check
James
this
White.
because are we sure that Brady had 5 MVPs and not 4?
Yeah,
Okay.
possibly.
You keep talking. I'm gonna.
Because Malcolm Butler didn't get it, Brady did in the Seattle game because he was awesome with 4 touchdowns.
Edelman had 10 catches for 141 yards.
Oh, I keep mixing it up because he gave James White the truck because he thought James White should have won Super Bowl MVP.
Well, you're talking about Brady.
He gave Malcolm Butler the truck.
He also gave it to James White.
Oh,
And
he
sure.
did. He did it both times.
And
Yeah.
the Edelman one was the Rams Super Bowl where
Yep.
he didn't score a touchdown, but there was only 1 touchdown scored.
Yeah,
Wait,
That-
that was
he
the
moved
Ra-
the chain for the court he moved the chains a bunch for the
10
So
for
Bra-
141.
Brady won it in the Patriots in the Falcon Super Bowl.
He did.
Interesting. I thought that was the Edelman one, not the Rams. Okay. All right. So this is where I'm held up. It is Travis Kelce.
Don't
Drop that.
don't do it. That's my pick.
Listen,
Is it?
No.
You see
You
what
are
you're trying to bait
A
me into?
pick,
Patrick Mahomes?
yes, a pick
Played,
played. Yeah,
I didn't say it yet.
You
I
did.
said,
You did.
what did I say?
You said Mahomes.
No, I didn't.
You did.
Check the tape. Can we rewind this? I did not. I said, here's my hesitation.
There's no reason not to go with Mahomes, is what you said.
No reason not to, but
Nope. I don't think so.
You're not allowed to talk out your options with your competition.
I'm going first. I make the rules.
All right, then Carl, you can choose Mahomes or Kelsey if you want. I guess you can double up on MVPs.
No. I'm not taking both. I'm just telling you, like, who else could possibly could anybody else in the Eagles win?
You are the Raiders front office when they're looking to draft that quarterback out of LSU, being like, who else should we take?
All right, fine. We'll talk about this later when we get to our props and our parlays. I'm just gonna go with.
Fine, I'll take Patrick Mahomes.
No, I'm gonna go with Patrick Mahomes.
Okay, that's what I thought you said.
Did you know even if you had Galaxy brained yourself into Kelsey, as soon as Carl said I'm taking Patrick Mahomes, you would have had instant buyer's remorse. Instant.
Listen.
He can't win.
Where I have remorse is because in my head it was like my gut is telling me Travis Kelce, but it's stupid not to bet on a quarterback to win MVP in the Super Bowl.
Yes.
A wide receiver has won the MVP 8 times.
Cooper Kupp won last year, right?
A running back has won it 7 times. A quarterback has won it 31 times.
Is Travis Kelce any of those positions?
No.
Travis Kelce is basically a wide receiver. Who's the defender? Didn't a defender win it in the Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl?
A couple of defenders have won it. Yeah, it was a linebacker. It was
Bobby Wagner?
Malcolm Smith.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Von Miller won it in Super Bowl 50.
Right.
And Ray Lewis won it in 2001.
Did James Harrison not win it in the
Eagles?
No, the Steelers Cardinals.
Who?
James Harrison.
Oh, I don't know why I thought you were saying Rodney Harrison.
Think about 92 yard.
99.
What Super Bowl was that? Hold on.
It was 08, I think. 09.
09.
Hines Ward.
Oh.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. Santonio Holmes in 09. Hines Ward won it in 06.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry to go down that rabbit hole. Carl, if you want to give your picks, you can go right ahead because Patrick Mahomes is locked in, I think.
I'm locked into Patrick Mahomes. Just know that I'm telling you, my gut says Kelsey, and I'm going to be so mad if Kelsey gets it because I think I got bamboozled into going first, and Carl was like, "Don't do it. It's my pick." And then I was like, whenever you pick something, Carl, I'm always like, well, now I have to pick it. And then I feel bad for saying I have to pick it because then it feels like I just picked it because you picked it.
And this is how you
say that I do that.
This is how you guys end up in a clear second and third place situation.
Well, here's the thing. I feel like in order for me to actually beat Tommy,
that's where my head was going too.
I need to have a long shot. I can't just be like, oh, Patrick Mahomes. So I was like, I'm gonna take Travis Kelce because if I end up tying Tommy and that's the one that sends me up, then
Tommy's not taking Patrick Mahomes.
He's probably not taking anyone wearing a red jersey or white jersey, I guess, because they're wearing white. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. And obviously, I'm going to take them to win and the points. And I'm going to take Travis Kelce. And I actually think I'm going to go with the under. I think there's going to be – I think there's an element to the Super Bowl that makes coaches play a little differently. And points are going to be at a premium. So instead of going for it on 4th and short or whatever – I think they're going to settle for punts for field position, and I think they're going to settle for field goals if they need to, which a lot of their drives will get continued by converting on 4th down. And I just think that they're going to – I mean, there's something about the Super Bowl where it's the last game you need to win. There's nothing else to play for. And, again, I wouldn't be surprised if they do that, but also there's so much game film on how these teams are running their 4th and short situations that I wouldn't be surprised if there's some attempts for 4th down conversions that are stopped because of all the preparation against it. I mean, you have 2 weeks to watch every single 4th and 1, 4th and 2, 4th and 3, 4th and 4, and find out what they're going to run to try and stop it. So
Which is exactly why what I alluded to earlier is that I think the Eagles' fourth and short play is going to be outlawed this offseason, where 2 linemen line up behind Jalen Hurts and just push him over. That's their bread and butter short yardage gameplay, and it works. They have like an 80% success rate just because you're trying to tackle 3 guys instead of 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's fair.
But that's my pick for the game. So I've got the Chiefs, the under, and Travis Kelce. Or Kels.
You want to trade Travis Kelce for Patrick Mahomes?
Sure.
We can talk about compensation.
Yeah, sure.
Just kidding. You said yes too easily. I hate you. Tommy, make your picks.
Okay. So I do think that the best player is a Chief in this game. So it's feasible that I would pick a Chiefs player to win MVP while also picking the Eagles to win. But no, I was talking about Patrick Mahomes. He's already been taken. But yeah, I think the Eagles I'm going to take the Eagles to cover the 1.5 spread. Obviously, I'm going to take the Eagles to win straight up. And while Pat, you're correct that it would be stupid to not pick a quarterback when you have a quarterback available as MVP, I'm going to go back to how I think this Eagles team is built, and I'm going to pick Miles Sanders as my Super Bowl MVP.
Oh.
Yep.
What?
Yep. Going out of left field on that one, but I'm taking Miles Sanders.
You guys both tried to tell me how stupid it would be to not take a quarterback as MVP, and then you both didn't take a quarterback.
Well, Carl didn't have a choice.
I didn't, because you picked Patrick Mahomes.
It wasn't a draft.
We couldn't repeat. We said that we couldn't repeat.
It's not a draft. Pick whoever you want. I didn't know those rules, or I would have gone last.
You want to get in some props, or are we gonna?
Wait, Tommy. Under.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm really glad that you fell for my fake out there when I was talking about the game. I'm going to take the over on 51. I actually think it's going to be like a 30-20. Oh, fuck.
30-20. I love it.
It's still under. Yeah, you're right.
I'm going to take the over with a total score that equals under.
Actually, is a pick played yet? Because I'll stick with it if I have to, but I kind of want to switch back to under.
No, you have to take the over because I'm on the under.
All right, that's fine.
I need all the ground. I need all the ground I can
make
up.
It was dumb. I'm over on the sheet, but just know that I'm thinking it's going to be the under in real life if you're actually listening to our advice.
Putting in parentheses in the notes, wanted to switch to under.
Yeah, that's fine.
Carl,
I think
said no.
I think over is the play.
Nah.
All right, so just to recap, Carl and I are both on the Chiefs to win this game. Carl likes the under. I like the over. I somehow got bamboozled, but maybe not, into taking Patrick Mahomes for MVP. Like, you guys tried to play Jedi mind tricks on me, and it completely worked, but I still wound up with Patrick Mahomes as my MVP pick. So I will take that, because if the Chiefs are going to win, I have the best quarterback in football.
Listen, we have you feeling upset that you picked the odds-on favorite for the.
You do. I hate you both. Like, really well done. Incredible work.
Exactly what we wanted.
God, you're sickos. Carl likes Travis Kelce for MVP, which I thought I liked until I was convinced that I didn't like it anymore, because I don't even know what up and down is anymore. And Tommy is opposite us. He's going with the Eagles to win and to cover that 1.5 point spread that they are favored by. He's also taking the over, although asterisk, he wanted to take the under, and then Carl said no. And for MVP, he is not going with Jalen Hurts. Incredibly, he is going with Miles Sanders. Now would be a good time maybe for me to tell you, Tommy. Eagles rushing leader this postseason is Kenneth Gainwell. I
understand.
Okay,
that's all that matters. It's not the yardage that matters when you're coming to MVP. There's going to be one stat that they look at first. It'll be those end zone scores, baby.
Honestly, You're not wrong. Which is why Travis Kelce is going to have 2 touchdown catches, 10 catches total for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. He's the tight end
as the Chiefs lose 38-14.
It's the worst part. It's like, oh, Patrick, but like that's it. Patrick Mahomes is throwing to like Juju Smith-Schuster. Who's that guy good for? Nobody. What was he, a Pittsburgh Steeler?
He couldn't even survive on that lowly franchise.
Yeah, I don't know.
Who's kick returning? Who's kick returning or punt returning for the Chiefs?
Definitely. It wouldn't be Mecole Hardman, right? Because they just put him on IR.
Yeah, he's definitely not.
Is
it Sky Moore?
It might be.
It has been Sky Moore, actually. Yeah, he had a big return against the Bengals.
Little bit of a sleeper, maybe. If he can get some touches on offense and also have a kick or punt return for a touchdown.
I bet Sky Moore to have the most rookie receiving yards before the season.
That probably didn't work out.
I lost horrifically, but it would be so bittersweet if he won Super Bowl MVP.
You know,
after I lost that bet.
Well, how about all
I would feel like I was right, but I still lost the money.
You know who's not winning? You know who's not winning Super Bowl MVP? Christian McCaffrey or Brock Purdy.
All right, DJ, spin up the track. Wait, Carl, who's performing at the Super Bowl this year? The halftime show? The Apple halftime show?
The Apple halftime show is sponsored by Apple.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
I think it's Rihanna.
All right, with that in mind, DJ, why don't you spin up that track because it is time for what is normally our parlay partay. It's the props propaganda extravaganza Super Bowl edition. Let's ride.
I'll just Photoshop you in.
I can't stop laughing.
It's the parlay partay, people.
If that's the one song being used, then I will silently boycott it.
All right. It's the Super Bowl props propaganda extravaganza, people.
I like that.
I'm dying laughing because Tommy hates that Rihanna song, and I can't tell you why on public forum, but it's just a great reason for history. But he hates that song, so that's our song this week. This is what we came for. It's
is that another song?
Yes, that's a Rihanna reference for those keeping score at home. Okay. Props. Let's start before the game even starts. Let's get rolling. We're going to go right through these boys. Pre-game, first things first, the length of the national anthem. I've seen multiple numbers here, Carl. I think you had 205 or 202.
I had 202.
You had 202. Okay. Let's go with 202 then. I saw 205 other places. I do think those 3 seconds matter, but maybe not enough. Chris Stapleton.
That's what she said.
Speaking of hopeless places, country music superstar Chris Stapleton is performing the national anthem this year. So there's controversy in this, guys. Chris Stapleton seemingly has never publicly performed the national anthem before. A video of it does not exist on the internet. People are losing their minds.
Has every other person that's sung the Super Bowl national anthem ever done that before?
It's usually
I can't imagine, because usually it's like an A-list music star, and I can't imagine them being like, yeah, sure, I'll sing the national anthem for anything other than the Super Bowl.
At some point, everybody seems to do it. Like it's like
wild.
The thing that you do as like a teenager or college kid or just starting to make it. Like you get an arena gig to go sing the national anthem once. You know what I mean? Like anything. If it happened, video of it does not exist for Chris Stapleton.
That doesn't surprise me.
2 minutes and 2 seconds here. Here's some quick fun facts. 7 of the last 10 anthem performances have gone over that time. They've actually gone over 205 because that's the number that I had, and we're using 202 here. And then, so okay, like part of me is like, well, it's a country singer, right? Like they're gonna drawl it out. It's gonna go longer. But 4 of the 9 shortest anthem performances of the last 30 years, dating back to the 1990s, have been by country singers. So the question is, what do we think Chris Stapleton's going to do? Chris Stapleton's also the man who dragged out a very long performance-driven 8-minute rendition of Tennessee Whiskey. And if you've ever seen him sing or perform live on any like award shows or in concert, he is a performer. So I don't mind leading us off here. I'm just gonna, like, my gut says we're going over on this national anthem, even though we don't really have Chris Stapleton evidence. I think we're gonna hit the over easily if we're going with 202.
I agree with you. I'm going to go with the over. I don't know if it's going to be easily, but I think it's going to come down to that last note, which, as you just noted, he is going to likely hold it for a few seconds, and I think that is going to be what pushes us over that 202 time frame. So I'll take the over as well.
Love it.
I'm going to take the over. I thought I had it somewhere. If I can find it, maybe I'll just send it in a text group and we can like post it on Instagram. But he's a country music singer, and they tend to sing really slow and drawn out. And there's been even not at the Super Bowl, at like other events, there's been a handful of like country music style artists, and they go over the 2-minute mark consistently. So I think the average national anthem time for like the Super Bowl or like just performances in general is like 1:40. But again, slower musical style, bigger stage. Again, you're trying to put on a show, and I think it's going to go over also.
Love that. Clean sweep to lead us off here and the propaganda extravaganza.
Hold on, boys.
Great. Let's dive right into the coin toss then. All right, heads or tails? A little background for you. Heads has won 4 of the last 5, but for those people who say tails never fails, you would be more correct than not correct, because it leads the all-time heads or tails in the Super Bowl series 29-27 over the first 56. I read an article actually just before we jumped on from The Athletic, who last year was able to acquire an official Super Bowl coin that they used to flip and did a test to see if one side was weighted more than the other. These people did at least between 500 and 600 flips. One test had like 50.4 tails, 49.6 heads, and then the other one was like reverse, and it was heads slightly more than tails. The point being, there really is no edge, but they're both like minus 105 here, so Vegas is making out either way. Heads or tails, what do we think?
That was some deep research for a coin toss.
By the way, the Chiefs get to call it because they're the designated away team. So heads or tails. I'll go first again. I'm just gonna tell you. I'm gonna go with tails.
Is it gonna land on it, or is this what the team is picking?
No,
what it lands
on.
Okay.
I'm gonna say tails because the Chiefs just feel like a tails never fails kind of a team. Feels like a Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce thing to say. And they're calling it, and I think they're going to win it. So
it's funny. I think that it is also going to land on tails, but or actually, let me rephrase that. I think the Chiefs are going to call heads. I think, you know what? Man, I don't know.
It's like sneaky kind of hard, right?
I think the Chiefs are
it's a coin
heads.
flip. It's the hardest that you can't predict it.
I think the Chiefs are going to call heads. I think it's going to land on tails, meaning I think the Eagles win the toss and lose the game, as has been the trend.
We'll get to that in a minute.
So I think the coin toss result is tails.
You've turned your brain into such a knot. Carl chose tails.
I'm choosing tails.
Okay.
As the official landing.
Okay. Yeah, me too. But
I'm
for
doubling
reasons.
down on tails and Eagles.
Okay.
We're sweeping again.
Wait, but you picked the Chiefs.
God.
I'm saying the Eagles win the toss. We're
not asking that yet.
Oh, I got you.
Which means they lose the game because of the trend.
I understand.
All right.
Okay.
All
right, Tommy,
decision, heads or tails?
Tails.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Said it. Pick play. All of this for just another sweep because I think Tails is just in for some positive regression there. I think they're going to be the first side to 30 lands in Super Bowl history.
Amazing. We're making history as always on this podcast. All right, who will win the coin toss? Eagles or Chiefs? And I will just give you some stats here. Again, so the Chiefs are the away team, so they get to call it in the air. The winner of the coin toss has lost 8 straight Super Bowls. The last winner was in the Seahawks Broncos game in 2013. So Seahawks must have won the coin toss because they won the game. Okay, here's I teased earlier. I told you there's some other crazy numbers in the matrix that are like the identical numbers, points scored, all those things for the Eagles and the Chiefs. So I looked up, is there an edge? Who wins the coin toss more often during the regular season? Chiefs in 17 regular season games, 14-3 in the coin toss. Eagles, regular season, 17 games. Yeah, you guessed it. 14-3. Guys.
I need to weigh numbers. I need to weigh statistics. I need to know when they are calling it.
Yeah, I struggled. There was very little data. I was lucky that I found that. I wanted to know what the record was when they called it. I wanted to know what they called. Apparently, we don't keep this data, and I think sports books everywhere should be ashamed. So I don't have that for you. But the Chiefs are calling it. So who's going to win?
I'm going to take the Eagles to win the coin toss here. Breaking the trend.
I'm going to go with...
Go
ahead.
I already said the Eagles for me. Mm-hmm. So...
And you think the Eagles are going to win the coin toss because they're going to lose the game?
Yeah.
So they're going to stick with the trend?
Yeah.
Great. I'm with Tommy, but on the opposite side because I believe that we will buck the trend, but I believe that the Chiefs will win and win.
That's my bad.
This is not a thing whether or not they will take the ball or defer. So I won't even ask you guys because we'll go down that rabbit hole of all those hypotheticals.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. First points of the game. I'm going to ask you who scores first and how do they score? Is it a touchdown? Is it a field goal? Or is it a safety? Is there another way that I'm missing? No.
I don't think so.
Not for first score, right? Touchdown, field goal, or safety.
1 point pooch kick.
No, right? Yeah.
No. You need a 1 point. That would be a 1 point safety.
I'm sorry that I made that joke. It's not going to happen. We don't need to worry about that.
I'm thinking of the scenario.
It can happen, but it's not going to. So let's not even talk about it.
Okay. Touchdown, field goal, or safety. Carl, why don't you go first?
First, overall points of the game, I think it's going to be a field goal.
4?
Ooh, good question.
Ooh.
I'll say Chiefs.
This was going to be one of my props is that I was going to say the first drive was going to end the Jake Elliott field goal for the Eagles.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was the Eagles. I just think it's going to be a field goal first.
Yeah, I do too.
I feel like
I would actually bet the first drive ends in a punt.
Okay, interesting. I actually kind of agree because I think the Chiefs are going to win. I think they're going to take the ball. They're going to try to go to score, and the Eagles are going to get a stop. And the Eagles are going to march right down the field, and Miles Sanders is going to score a touchdown.
Wow. What a game plan by all-time head coach Andy Reid there.
Yeah, I'm going with Eagles touchdown. I also just gave you my first touchdown scorer. So if you want, we can. Let's open this up here and talk about it. First touchdown scorer, tied for the second best odds, Miles Sanders with Travis Kelce. Best odds, Jalen Hurts. Which I actually do kind of, and I don't know, in my head it was Jalen Hurts, and then like as it played out and as I spoke, it became Miles Sanders, maybe because of this podcast. I don't really know. So whatever, I picked it, so I'm going to stick with it. So I guess that's my first touchdown score, Miles Sanders at 7-1 plus 700. I do like Kelce, and I do like Isaiah Pacheco, and that happens to be the order. So I'll read this to you quickly. Jalen Hurts plus 650, Miles Sanders and Travis Kelce 7-1, Isaiah Pacheco 8-1, AJ Brown plus 950, Dallas Goedert 11-1, Devonta Smith 12-1, Jerick McKinnon 12-1. And then we get deep on first touchdown scorer, right? We've got Kadarius Toney, Marquez Valdes-Scantling, Kenneth Gainwell, Juju Smith-Schuster, Boston Scott, Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes. You want to talk about some value for a second here? Patrick Mahomes, 25-1, plus 2,500 odds to score the first touchdown. We can't see him scampering in for a little 2-yard rollout. Nobody's open and he just gets in. I feel like that's maybe some good odds. Pat Mahomes, 25-1, first touchdown. Am I wrong?
I think the ankle injury is still there, so I think it's going to be tough for him to outside much further than like 5 yards. It's going to be tough for him to, and they won't want to risk that. I don't think. Like I feel like if you're in the field position for him to score, I think you're more likely to be handing it off or throwing it.
Okay.
I mean, I guess it could be a broken down play, but I don't know. That just seems like that. I think that's why the odds are so low for him.
Completely fair.
What's the backup tight end, Tommy?
Noah Gray.
Noah Gray.
Give me Noah Gray.
He's for first TD score.
Yeah, why not?
55-1.
55-1.
I need all the touchdowns to go to Travis Kelce. So give me Kelce.
You do.
Big Travis Kelce
I'm gonna stick with the chalk here. I think it's gonna be Jalen Hurts. I think the Eagles are gonna run that you need to tackle 3 of our players. Play.
Okay. I like that. All right. So to score a touchdown, does anybody like we talked through the game, we talked through our script. Is there anybody that stands out? Like the number one to me is Travis Kelce. Like, is there a world where Travis, like, if you think the Chiefs are going to win, there's no way that Travis Kelce doesn't score a touchdown and they win, right? Like, I don't see that world. I kind of feel like a Jalen Hurts rushing touchdown is inevitable. I just told you, I think Miles Sanders scores the first touchdown. I wouldn't be surprised to see both of them score. Those are the 3 that stand out to me as the most probable, right? Not a surprise. Like the 3 chalk picks. It's Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders, Travis Kelce for anytime touchdown scorers. And just to give you those odds, Travis Kelce minus 135, Jalen Hurts minus 115, Miles Sanders minus 105. Still, I think, decent odds there. Anybody else stand out for you guys?
I really like both Devonta Smith and AJ Brown are at plus odds for any time, which is surprising to me. Devonta Smith has the better odds at plus 150 as opposed to AJ Brown being plus 105. So I would take that because I think one of them is going to score. And Devonta Smith has gotten more looks than AJ Brown. AJ Brown has been more the splash plays. So I like that bet. I like the plus odds on Devonta Smith.
I was just looking at that same thing. How about like backup running back like Boston Scott? Or
Boston Scott is nice. If there's one player to stay off for me, it's Jerick McKinnon because the game looked perfect for him against the Bengals, and I think that he is more banged up than Mahomes is, even though he's been a full participant in practice. So I would avoid Jerick McKinnon for me.
Yeah. I like long shots if like you're looking at like Kadarius Toney getting a little bit more involved. He's been involved in some running game stuff. Or even like short screen passes. I like Juju because he's reliable, but he doesn't seem to be like one of their. He gets a lot of snaps, but I feel like he is more of like a third down guy. He's not like a every down guy. I feel like, so I would rather have a guy with speed than like a pass catcher like Juju Smith. So I think if you're looking at Chiefs players, maybe looking at Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore. I like Isaiah Pacheco. Yeah, someone that's got speed.
I know he's not on here, and I mentioned it as a joke, kind of, but I also wouldn't put it past Philly to throw a trick play of Jason Kelsey catching a TD,
like a Philly special type
like
of deal,
like a Mike Vrabel type thing. Dan Conley.
Yeah. That's better than right because it's not the quarterback.
The problem with that though is he is a center.
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. Yeah, you're right. Never mind. Do we think the Chiefs pull out their merry-go-round play that they did at the end of the regular season?
You know, like, would they do it at the end of a half?
That would probably be the best time to do it if they do it.
Right, like end of the first half.
So here's the thing. I'm thinking way out there. There is a formation that you could technically run where the center is an eligible receiver, where like he snaps the ball but is also eligible based on like how they line up in a formation. However, it would be more likely for Travis Kelce to be a center and be eligible because he doesn't have to report as eligible. Whereas Jason Kelce would have to be like, I'm an eligible receiver. And then all of a sudden they come out in this formation and be like, hey, we should probably watch this guy who's eligible all of a sudden.
Yeah, no, I forgot that he was the center. That's a good point. I'd take that off, even though he's not on the odds list anyways. So
True.
It was a good point.
It's a great point.
All right. Couple to think about here. Anytime touchdown score, Sky Moore plus 650, not bad. I say not bad. Only not bad if you subscribe to could he possibly get involved to get an MVP vote or two and return a kick. But if he returns a kick, he doesn't have to get involved on offense. He doesn't have to win the MVP. You cash an anytime touchdown score at plus 650. Two others, and I know that there's better odds on this actually other places. So you can bet first touchdown, you can bet last touchdown, you can bet anytime touchdown. Those are the standard. And then sometimes you can get specials and you can do like an exacta, which is like first, second, whatever. You want to talk about last touchdown? This is not my original idea. I heard this on a podcast today. But how many times have we seen like this season alone in the last couple of years, like gambling bad beats where there's like a hook and lateral kind of a play or something like end of the game, you're scrambling, it's a close game, you need to lateral on a kickoff, and then all of a sudden guy drops the ball, fat guy picks it up, runs 20 yards, and we have a defensive special teams touchdown to end the game.
I've never seen the Patriots do that ever.
No, it just happens to them. Eagles and Chiefs defense, both 35-1 for first touchdown, 35-1 for last touchdown, and 6-1 for anytime touchdown. I was actually hoping for better odds on this. And I know that there's better odds for last touchdown in other books. Like FanDuel was, I think Eagles were 38-1, and then Chiefs probably somewhere in there, maybe slightly lower because they're not favored to win the game. Thoughts? Do we like that?
I mean, it's worth a sprinkle.
Yeah.
Like a single yellow Skittle?
Orange even.
Okay. My long shot was gonna be Noah Gray. And you mentioned him as your guy, Carl. Any other long shots stand out? Like any other guys that, I mean, do you want to just give me a name for a guy that you think?
Quez Watkins is either catching 160-yard pass or nothing at all. So he would be my long shot at plus 700 anytime.
Okay. I don't hate that actually. That's pretty good.
That's been his entire 2-year career so far, is like the highest ADOT possible.
Do we feel like Clyde Edwards-Helaire is just like the transaction is just a distraction, a smoke screen?
His odds are super high. Like I feel like you're better off taking Ronald Jones is 1,600 plus 1,600, whereas Clyde Edwards-Helaire is plus 500.
I like your thought process though of like Jerick McKinnon might be a little bit more hurt, and this is kind of like hey, we need bodies if we can get them in
That's
certain
true.
positions, because they saw obviously it's different when it's your quarterback, but like you'd rather have some guy like if Pacheco's the number one and McKinnon's actually like really hurt, you'd probably rather have a guy like Clyde Edwards-Helaire than just in case like both people get hurt. So
I just think it's wild that Ronald Jones has triple the odds for TD scoring, considering he's been with the Chiefs during the postseason run, whereas Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been on IR.
Yeah. A quick stat for you: Eagles versus tight ends. 3 touchdowns all year. Eagles versus running backs, 3 receiving touchdowns all year. 14 rushing touchdowns allowed, less than 1 per game. Pretty good. But they only allowed more than 1 rushing touchdown twice. Week 1 against the Lions and week 10 against the Commanders. So there's that. Okay. Any other touchdown bets that we like?
No, I think we covered most of them.
Okay. The one that I like that we can just point out here is they have like touchdown specials. So you can do like a touchdown parlay and you can say, well, first of all, they have touchdown exactas, which is like Miles Sanders to score first, Jalen Hurts to score second, Travis Kelce to score the first 2 touchdowns of the game. And that's for either team. It has to be in that exact order. If you don't get it, you don't win. Those are decent odds. The lowest there, like the worst quote unquote odds are 22-1, and it's Sanders first, Hurts second. But then there's on DraftKings, they're calling it a touchdown score parlay, and they give you 3 selections, pre-selected selections, and just 2 of them need to score, and you're getting like minus 110 odds here. So like Travis Kelce, Miles Sanders, Jalen Hurts. Any 2 players from those 3 to score a touchdown, minus 110 odds. AJ Brown, Isaiah Pacheco, Dallas Goedert. That one I don't hate. Plus 145. Feels like there's some value there. And then it gets down to like players that maybe you don't want. So something like that maybe worth looking into. And then there's also, I mean, there's a million different ways that you can do this, right? Yeah. But I always love to score a touchdown and win. And so if you want to bet on the Chiefs or you want to bet on a Travis Kelce anytime touchdown, I think this is where your value is, right? Because the Chiefs are not going to get great odds. Travis Kelce is minus odds. But like if you were going to bet on the Chiefs, Travis Kelce to score anytime and the Chiefs to win, plus 195. Looking at the Eagles really quickly, Jalen Hurts score anytime, Eagles to win, plus 200. Miles Sanders plus 210. Not bad. I think those are the guys that we like the most there, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's jump over to some passing props. All right, we're just gonna run down this list, Carl. Jalen Hurts passing yards over or under 241.5.
I actually like the over here, but I do think it's going to help if the Eagles are playing a little bit from behind, which I am hoping for. So I'm going to take over.
Sorry, can you say the number again?
241.5 passing yards, over or under.
That's a good line because I don't think he's going to reach 300. He'll reach 300 total yards, but I don't think it's going to do passing alone. I'm going to say over because I think to win they're going to need like 250 minimum. And I think they're going to win. So I'm going to say over.
I'm going to go with the under because he hasn't even hit 200 in the postseason, and I don't think he has to throw for them to win. So I'm going to take the under for Jalen Hurts.
You know what? That's valid because I was going to say like he hasn't hit 200 because he hasn't needed to, and that's good. It's a valid point.
Mahomes passing yards it's 294.5, so 295.
It's easy over for me.
I agree, over.
I'm going to go under. I think it's just a little too high.
Wow. I think for the Chiefs to win, like he needs to have 300 passing yards.
I agree. It's dangerously high to bet. But if you think they're going to win, which I do, it has to happen, I think. But I also took the over on the points too. So it kind of depends on that. Completions here for Hurts and Mahomes. Hurts is at 20.5. Mahomes is 25.5. I'm taking the over for Mahomes because I'm going over on the yards. I like over on the points. Jalen Hurts a little bit tougher, but 20.5 is a good number. In the playoffs, 16 and 15.
Yeah, I messed up with taking the over on his passing yards. I'm going to take the under on his completions, and I'm going to take the over for Mahomes.
These ones don't have to be official right now. If you want to flip flop, that's fine. We'll have our official picks with that challenge that we have later.
For sure.
Yeah. I like under Mahomes passing yards. I like under Mahomes completions, but I took over Jalen Hurts passing yards, but I think I'm going to take under completions. I think it's going to be like 18, 19, 20 completions, I think. So give me under Jalen Hurts completions.
Right.
And under Patrick Mahomes completions.
All right, I'm going to give you we don't have this one written down. Jalen Hurts rushing attempts, over or under 12.5.
Rushing attempts?
Keep in mind, I'm pretty sure that a knee counts as a rushing attempt.
It does. That's my fun factor. So, not 12 and I apologize. It's 12. So here's what I'll tell you. He averages 10 per game. He's gone over 12 6 times. But if you do like the Eagles to win, which Tommy does, you probably get 1 to 3 kneel downs at the end of the game, which count as rushing attempts. Which is also why, if you like the Eagles, I would not take rushing yard over numbers for Jalen Hurts. Because, I think it was a couple of years ago when the Chiefs won, Mahomes lost a ton of yards. Because a lot of times they don't just go right down for a knee. They'll do the 2 or 3 step back and then kneel down knee because they take an extra second off the clock or something. And then you lose 5 or 6 yards for each one of those, and it's insane. So, I don't know. What do we think?
I'll take the over on attempts. I'll follow my own script.
Over 12, okay. Carl, what do you think?
Yeah, good line. I think.
Right?
I think I'm gonna take the under. I think they're gonna be in a position to be kneeling.
In the playoffs, 11-9. He hasn't gone over since week 17, and before that, he had not gone over 12 since Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, he was out for a couple of games in between.
That's fair. That's a good point. He did miss 3 games. You're right. Or 2 games, something like that. Okay. Rushing and receiving yards. Isaiah Pacheco, over or under 69.5. I actually hate this number because I saw it way lower, 64, 65 somewhere else, even as low as 60. So clearly this has gone up. Isaiah Pacheco, over or under 69.5 receiving yards.
Total yards, right?
Plus rushing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, yeah, rushing and receiving yards. Correct.
I'll take the over here.
I'll take the over also. I
agree. He's done it. He's gone over 60 a ton, basically since he became a real rotation player for them. So I agree. Miles Sanders, rushing and receiving, over or under 66.5. I feel like this one is sneaky, but I don't have the numbers in front of me. So someone else pick while I look it up.
This is going to be close, but I'm going to take the over because I feel like he could have even just he could honestly get that and rushing alone. So I'm going to take the over easily. Actually,
I like the over also.
Okay, here's the fun fact on it being rushing and receiving. His season high for single game receiving yards is 3.
Yep,
this season.
So okay, yeah, of course,
it's all on the ground for him. He's 1-1, right? He had 90 against the Giants, and then he had 42 against San Francisco. They spread it around. It's a really good line.
Mm-hmm. Okay, they have the deepest running back room in the NFL.
It's the thing. He doesn't need to break one. I think I'm going to go over because I think he's going to be heavily involved, but I would not be shocked to see that go under. All right, receiving yards, Travis Kelce. We've got both the tight ends, Travis Kelce and Dallas Goedert. Travis Kelce, we'll go with him first. Over or under 79.5 receiving yards. Carl, you took him for MVP. I'll let you go first.
Over.
This line should be way higher. This should be at 90.
Eagles, very good against tight ends. I'm going to take the over as well, but I do like.
Just based on volume alone.
Here's my thing. Here's my problem that I've run into with my trying to calculate my Travis Kelce props is he's listed as a tight end, but he lines up as a wide receiver like 2 or 3 all the time.
Mm-hmm.
He'll line up on the end sometimes, like in a off tackle position, but like most of the time he's a slot receiver. So
here's just to go back to rushing for a second. Postseason rushing leaders. Kenneth Gainwell is currently in 4th. Miles Sanders is in 5th. The leader is Christian McCaffrey. He's not playing on Sunday. Gainwell has 160. Miles Sanders has 132. Christian McCaffrey leads with 238.
He also has an extra game played.
Correct. My question is, will Kenneth Gainwell or Miles Sanders overtake Christian McCaffrey?
No. They would need a minimum of what, 120? Is that what, based on
107 for Miles Sanders and like 28 less for, so like 89, something like that. I don't know.
Nah.
479 math.
No, I think McCaffrey has that one locked up. I think Miles Sanders will have like between 80 and 90, and Gainwell will probably have like between 30 and 40.
Okay.
I think the only reason the Gainwell has had as many rushing yards as he has is because the other 2 games have been blowouts, so they haven't needed to use Miles Sanders.
It's fair. Postseason receiving, Travis Kelce's at 176. The leader is Jamar Chase at 220. Nobody else is close. Nobody playing in this game. I think he would just happens. Yeah, he would need 45 yards.
Easy peasy.
So he's got to get that, right?
Yep. I would say so.
Passing, Joe Burrow is exactly 200 yards ahead of Patrick Mahomes. Jalen Hurts is much, much, much lower on this list. He would need to outthrow Patrick Mahomes by like 500 yards to win this. So will Mahomes go over 200 passing yards and have the most passing yards this postseason?
Yes.
Okay. I agree. Dallas Goedert, 48.5. What do we think?
I'm gonna say under. I feel like he has been involved in their postseason, but it's a clear like almost 4th fiddle behind the 2 wide receivers and the running back depth that they have.
So you're gonna go with the under?
Under for Goddard.
Okay.
Yeah, I think again it's one of those lines. I feel like it's kind of close, but I don't know. I think they're going to target him enough, so I think I'm going to take the over.
This is a crazy line. So it's 48.5 Chiefs versus tight ends on average give up 47.6 yards.
LOL.
I actually think Dallas Goedert might get involved in this game, so I'm going to go over 48.5, but I do think it's a really good line. Devonta Smith, 62.5 receiving yards, over under.
Devonta Smith.
Over.
Under.
It'll be close, but over.
I'm going to go with the under as well. I think
this is AJ Brown's day.
Yeah. Well, so that takes us right there. Over under 71.5 for AJ Brown.
Over.
Under.
I'm going to go over 71.5.
I mean, this is going to be kind of like last year where T. Higgins took over the Super Bowl and Jamar Chase had all the attention. I think it's going to be the same thing here.
Okay. Total field goals here made in this game. Over or under 3.5?
This is a really good line.
I know. I made it.
You did? You didn't
Maybe.
pull it somewhere? You made it?
I couldn't find it, but I was like, 3.5 sounds good.
Well done, Carl.
I always want over 3. And
I'm going to say over.
The hook made me mad.
I'm going to say over.
I thought 3 was like a good number, so I was like, let's make it 3.5. 2.5's too low. 3.5's good.
Like even just thinking about like each of the kickers like stat lines at the end, if like two for 2 seems low for me, so I think I'm gonna go over.
I'm gonna go over.
I'm going under.
Wow.
I'm going under.
Are you?
Yeah.
You made the line, sucker.
I think the first possession for each team, not first possession, but I think the first score for each team is going to be a field goal. But then I think that they're going to not want field goals the whole game, and it might come down to like a field goal at the end.
And they just like go for fourth downs and miss or make it.
Yeah, it's field goals made. Also, it's not.
I know.
Attempted, yeah.
Attempted. So there could.
Yeah,
be
but this is Jake Elliott and what's his name in Kansas City?
Harrison Butker.
Yeah, I'm pretty confident in both of them, to be honest.
Yeah, you would be.
Both of them.
All right. I like these. Okay, Kansas City total points over or under 24.5, and then Eagles total points over or under 26.5.
Over under on Kansas City, over on the Eagles.
I'm going under everything.
I'm gonna go over on. I'm gonna go Kansas City over, Philadelphia under.
Eagles push.
They push 26.5. Okay. We already told you who we're picking to win this game and what the totals are going to be. We made our MVP picks too. All right, here's what I'll ask you. Is there anybody else that you could see?
I think we've named every player on every roster so far, including linemen.
I mean, we never mentioned Jalen Hurts in the MVP conversation, ironically. But I obviously think he's a name that needs to be talked about for MVP.
Jalen Hurts is the favorite at plus 120. Pat Mahomes plus 125. And then the next best odds are Travis Kelce, but it's at 12-1. Tied with AJ Brown for 12-1, and then Miles Sanders 22-1.
Yep.
I think let's think defensively. I think it would have to be Hassan Reddick if he gets like a strip sack.
Yep, that was going to be my choice for the Eagles. Chris Jones for the Chiefs.
If he gets a couple sacks. I mean, the Chiefs, I don't know their sacks allowed on the season, but Philadelphia had the number 1 sacks as a defense, like an absurd amount. Patrick Mahomes may have a bad ankle. He seems to be able to get out of pressure, so I imagine they don't have too many sacks. He's not like taking sacks, he's either throwing it away.
Or he's trying to throw a ball to the sideline and it just pops up in the air because he can't throw.
Yeah. Or he throws it into the ground and they don't get called for intentional grounding. But yeah, so I would have to say like it'd have to be like a really special defensive performance from like a defensive lineman. I
mean, we talked about it earlier. James Harrison had a 99-yard interception touchdown return in a Super Bowl and didn't win MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a special play.
Yeah, but if I feel like there's a recency bias because that happened at the end of the first half, and then this Antonio Holmes touchdown happens late in the game, and it's a crazy catch, and it means more. So like maybe through the game he has 2.5 sacks, and then towards the end of the game he gets a strip sack and recovers it, or if someone else even gets a strip sack and he recovers it and runs it for a touchdown, and that's what sends the game, seals the game for him. I mean, we saw Von Miller win it in Super Bowl 50, and I mean the defense did play really well, but like he didn't do a lot to deserve MVP. It's just no one on offense did anything. So
the more that we talk about it, the more I regret taking Miles Sanders over Jalen Hurts, because like James White against the Falcons scored the game tying and the game winning first overtime touchdown in Super Bowl history and still didn't win MVP. You're on mute.
Did not win MVP.
Yeah. So I'm regretting it now. I'll just put that out there. We don't need to put an asterisk on my pick, but I'm regretting it.
An asterisk. Yeah, I think he had 3 touchdowns in that game and didn't win MVP. you mentioned Hassan Reddick and Chris Jones. Hassan Reddick 35-1, Chris Jones 40-1. I told you earlier, could Darius Slay have like 3 interceptions and something like, you know what I mean? So he is 60-1, Darius Slay. Just things to think about. Isaiah Pacheco 35-1. I don't really see it, but maybe he pops off. I think he will score a touchdown. I don't think he'll have an MVP performance. All right, I like these. Earlier for just to kind of recap when I told you about those touchdown scores and how DraftKings has like a 2 of 3 need to score. FanDuel actually has a like 1 of 2 need to score. So they'll give you pick the 2 and then just only one of them has to hit. And it's actually like not bad odds. So for example, like Jalen Hurts or Dallas Goedert, 5-1 plus 500. Kelsey or Goddard or Kelsey or Sanders, plus 410, plus 330. So look around at different books. There's a lot of fun, different combinations. That's the point. I love to bet like the fun touchdown Super Bowl scores. I'm probably going to do something with Travis Kelsey and Jalen Hurts. I think that's where I'm going to lean. That's what my gut is, which I think will be over 4-1. Okay. Lovely. I told you this is going to be the longest podcast in history, so that's exactly what we're doing. But I think that really covers the game picks for us. So all that's left, we've got like 3 more things to make here. Okay.
So let's rifle through these.
All right. Super Bowl halftime show, Rihanna. What is her first song going to be? I will read you some of these odds really quickly. Don't Stop the Music at plus 150. Run This Town, Jay-Z song, plus 300 for first song. Diamonds and This Is What You Came For at 6-1. Bitch Better Have My Money, 8-1. Umbrella, 10-1. Stay, 11-1. We Found Love, 11-1. Tommy, I know that's your pick. And then there's a bunch of longer odds here. So we'll start there. Some fun little facts here. So Rihanna hasn't toured since 2016 when her last album came out. When she did, she began all of those concerts with Stay. I think that is way too slow to lead off a Super Bowl with. Do we agree?
Yeah, I also don't think she would start off with the same song that she from 7 years ago.
I wish Kanye was not such a moron and got canceled, because can you imagine how lit it would be to open the Super Bowl halftime show with all of the lights?
It would be pretty sweet. Does she have a version though that's without him, or is there? I think that's one of those songs that some of the featured artists have their own version. I could be wrong.
I don't think she does for that one.
And I don't think Fox would want the publicity of just like even a Kanye associated song.
I know. The favorite, Don't Stop the Music, opened at plus 350 and has been bet down to plus 150.
I'm also surprised that the second favorite is a featured art, like not featured art, like a collab song, because I don't think, like, if you're gonna have other artists, you wouldn't lead off with that song. Like, they would join in the middle of the performance. So I don't think Run This Town should be as high as it is.
Here's the interesting piece too, is like Rihanna and her crew in that label, like she's part of like the Jay-Z like
Rock
Nation. And Jay-Z was very anti-Super Bowl. Jay-Z, like after the Colin Kaepernick stuff, convinced Travis Scott not to perform at the Super Bowl. But that was like, and then Rihanna 5 years ago turned down in 2018 an opportunity to be the Super Bowl halftime performer. She's here. Maybe enough time has passed. I don't know.
Jay-Z is in LA tonight to watch LeBron potentially get the scoring record. It's only an hour flight away from Scottsdale.
Yeah, you would think, maybe. I don't know. Beyonce did perform. She had a halftime show, but that was 10 years ago before the Colin Kaepernick stuff. So I don't know.
I think she's going to lead off with a song that's not even on that list. This is my hot take.
Okay, go for it.
I know it's another slow song, so you probably don't think it's gonna be, but how does she not start singing "Lift Me Up" off stage, and then she rises through the stage and then just quickly transitions into a quicker song? It's the only new song that she's come out with, and I don't know how long. Mm-hmm. It's a powerful moment I'm sure that they don't want the interaction with because it was made for for Wakanda Forever, so maybe Fox doesn't want the interaction of like with a Disney property, but it's her number one song right now, and I just think that it's very easy to transition from that song into like a poppier song, but to start off with that and like have like the little intro piece be from Lift Me Up.
I don't hate that. I guess it goes against what I thought on Stay being the first song. But I do think it gives you kind of that like powerful inspirational moment, which is like a newer song. It's still popular because it's in Black Panther. It's not bad. So somehow it's not on that list that I gave you guys. But the first one that I actually deleted was a lot shorter. But I originally found it, which had Don't Stop the Music at plus 300. And then sixth on that list, 701, was Lift Me Up. So it was on the other one, but it's not for some reason. Somehow with like 20 songs, it's not on this list. I don't know why. I don't hate that.
So yeah, that's my pick. I would shop around looking for that just because like it's like because their Stay is a slow song as well, but Lift Me Up just has like a better like more universal. Like Stay is just like a relationship song. Lift Me Up is like, as you said, it's a universal inspirational vibe to it.
It feels very 2023.
I would love to see the past like handful of performances and like see what their first songs are, because to me it feels like you'd almost want to come in like slow and then like have a banger, like not a full slow song, but like a nice little slow build up intro and then like a banger drops.
Yep.
Versus coming in hot with like a banger. Which like, so I could understand that. To me, Don't Stop the Music doesn't make sense as a first song. It's almost like a like later song, like Don't Stop the Music.
I actually think that's a good closing song. Like when the like her singing like Please Don't Stop the Music stops with like the beat stopping and the lights going down right at the same time.
Yeah. I feel like for me, if I had to pick one, I mean, obviously I think the favorite is probably the better one because you're still getting plus odds and they know something. But I think Run This Town would be mine if I had to pick one.
So I kind of agree, and I feel like it would be lit. But I feel just such a good hype song.
But I feel like if you're gonna like have Run This Town, you're gonna have Jay-Z. You're also probably gonna have Umbrella. And
that's exactly where I was thinking.
And I think that the transition is gonna go from Umbrella into Run This Town if it happens that way, because my imagination sees like a rain scene where Jay-Z comes in to sing Umbrella in like a rain scene, and then it goes from Umbrella into Run This Town while he's out there.
Which also lends itself to not having, because if you're gonna have Jay-Z, if you're gonna have a guest, they're probably not, like Rihanna's gonna open the show solo, not with a guest.
Okay, so how about this?
It wouldn't be the number one.
Here's my long shot. Let's go. This Is What You Came For is the opening song. Because like she wants it to be all about her. Like you guys came for the thing. You guys came for
I like that. It's a very on brand lyrics to open up a halftime with.
I like that a lot. Okay. You've changed. I'm with you. I like This Is What You Came For. That I'm gonna go with that. And then maybe Don't Stop the Music is the lot. The one thing is like, what's that? Like, I don't even know how to describe it. It almost sounds like it's supposed to be like African, like beats chanting and like Don't Stop the Music, like a tribal kind of thing, which I feel like almost like a cappella would be a really cool open to the Super Bowl. It could also be a cool close to the Super Bowl halftime show. I don't know. But I like your theory, Carl. I was going to disagree with it because the next question is like, if she has a guest, who's it going to be? And then it's null and void if there is no guest. The favorite is Jay-Z at minus 225. And I think we just kind of, I don't know. I think we debunked it. Maybe not. I like, so Calvin Harris is second. He's minus 175. And she has two bangers with Calvin Harris. This Is What You Came For, and We Found Love, Tommy's favorite song. So, but if it's going to open with This Is What You Came For, that would debunk Calvin Harris. So I think it makes sense to open with This Is What You Came For and then collab with Jay-Z with Run This Town and Umbrella.
Does he have vocals on This Is What You Came For?
No, I don't think so. But
So I don't think so. The only thing is like, I mean, I think you can have Calvin Harris sitting there on a computer to open a song. Like I don't think him being a part of like an like part of a song is going to take it out of the running for an opener, because he like she can
especially
still
if
do
the
that.
camera, like the camera doesn't have to show him right away.
Yes.
She can come in from somewhere else, and then it's like, oh, Calvin Harris is there too.
Yes.
I don't hate that. Okay.
All right, ready? I
Good
found
one.
an article. We'll try and breeze through this. It is the last, like the first song and the last song for the last like 25 performers. Dr. Dre and them, they did Next Episode was the first one.
Mhm.
Still Dre was the last one. Before that, it was The Weeknd. He did Starboy and then ended with Blinding Lights. J-Lo and Shakira started with Dare and then ended with Waka Waka. Maroon 5 did Harder to Breathe, ended in Moves Like Jagger. Justin Timberlake, Filthy, and Can't Stop the Feeling. Says
it's kind of slow to hype.
It says, based on past halftime show trends, it's unlikely Rihanna will open with anything brand new,
Right.
which goes against Tommy's thing.
Son of a
It
bitch.
says Ponder Replay could
I
be
was
a
wondering
strong
about that.
option because it was a real breakout song for her.
Yeah, that was her first hit.
But she also has 14 number one songs from the charts, so it could be really any of the other ones. So Justin Timberlake Super Bowl 52 was the only one in the last 16 years to begin with a song that is less than a year old, because Filthy was released less than a month earlier than that.
I did predict that would be his opening song.
You did.
For that Super Bowl. That's like my shining moment for Super Bowl halftime shows. Yeah.
So
this is also a unique case where like it's not like she has like a large discography of music that she came out with in the last 5 or so years.
Right.
That's true. It's weird.
So I don't know. The odds I have here is Don't Stop the Music at plus 400. So I don't know when this was released, but your number is obviously a little bit more recent, probably at plus 150. It seems like that's where it's trending. So
okay.
That's the facts.
I like that. I think we've given the people good information. All right. Last question. The color of the Gatorade pour over the coach's head. What do you got?
I also just want to lock in who she's collabing with. Like who else is going to be there.
Oh, please.
I think it's going to be Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Calvin Harris.
Not A$AP Rocky and a baby, because apparently there's a distinction between A$AP Rocky and A$AP Rocky and a baby.
Okay, so I love
baby.
This because that's her baby daddy. They have a baby together. So literally fourth on this list is A$AP Rocky, who she does not have a song with. And then eighth on this list is A$AP Rocky with their kid. Plus, I think that if you're going to bet A$AP Rocky,
you might as well
plus 350, you might as well throw in the kid. I think that is probably more likely. Like, what would does it count as a collab? So this one, okay, this is guest appearance, not collab. So they don't even have to be there. Calvin Harris could just jump on the stage. A$AP Rocky can just be there. But like, remember, like A-Rod was in the crowd when J-Lo performed.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
That doesn't count because he wasn't on stage, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think yeah. So I'm locking in at Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Calvin Harris for me.
The sneaky one I kind of liked was Kendrick, even though he was there last year, because Kendrick's jumping into the public eye again, and they have a song together. It's Kendrick's song "Loyalty" that Rihanna's on, and they've performed it live together several times the last couple of years.
I don't think it'll happen, but I like DJ Khaled.
That would be pretty cool.
I don't know.
The only one that I don't like of that list is I don't like Drake, because I think Drake is big enough that he could conceivably be like, I'd rather wait until I have my own halftime show.
Well, and I think like Drake was in love with Rihanna and had like a really awkward like award show moment with her, and she just never reciprocated and then got pregnant with A$AP Rocky. So,
but somehow he's minus odds.
Yeah, I don't see that happening. I think they're just trying to steal your money to bait you in. They do have a lot of collabs together, like just tracks or things that he might have produced or whatever. But I don't.
I agree with you there. The real life implications of that are
the Eminem one is interesting too, because Rihanna loves to play "Love the Way You Lie" like part 2, which is what you were alluding to. Like, is there like the part 2 of like the song? Like, she has her own version of "Love the Way You Lie," but Eminem was just there last year. I just don't. Even though
I also don't think they want.
there.
I also don't think they want that song being played.
No, that's the thing. Yeah, it's not like Super Bowl friendly, really. Although I do think she's gonna play like S&M. I think she's gonna work that in. And
yeah, S&M like at least S&M.
It's different.
Yeah,
it's not about like murdering your spouse and burning the house down. It's about like sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough. Okay. All right. I like that. Gatorade color. Yellow, green plus 375, orange and blue tied at plus 425. We haven't had clear since like the 2000s.
Yeah.
They had 4 in a row with clear, then it never came back. Red pink is plus 475. Purple's plus 800. We haven't seen that in a while. No Gatorade shower plus 1200.
When was the last time that happened?
Not that long ago. It was
2017 Patriots in the comeback.
I was just gonna say Patriots, yeah, in the comeback. So basically, yeah. Literally most of the nuns were Patriots. None or clear. Like 2002, none Patriots. 2004, none Patriots. 2005, clear Patriots.
Yeah.
So
I think either way, you're gonna have like plus odds, and it's just a long shot. I mean, you could almost guarantee yourself money if you just wanted to throw $100 on yellow, green, orange, and blue.
Yeah.
Those are the 3 most likely colors.
Blue it's been blue 3 of the last 4.
Yeah, I think honestly, I would probably go. I think I looked up the Chiefs and the Eagles from their last couple of wins, and it was yellow and orange. No.
Yeah, Chiefs. When the Chiefs won in 2020, they had orange Gatorade, and when the Eagles beat the Patriots, it was yellow Gatorade.
Yeah.
In 2018.
So I think I mean, you could hedge it and go money on both. But if we're just picking one here for the funsies, whatever the Chiefs did last time, orange. Give me orange.
Do you think the Chiefs would pour like a bucket of cheeseburgers over Andy Reid?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
I mean, orange is my favorite color, so I'm just gonna go with orange.
I'm gonna go orange as well.
Wow,
what an easy sweep.
Yeah,
I do think if the Eagles win, I think it's gonna be yellow though.
That's fair.
I'm betting orange against my Eagles bet just because I like orange, but I think the Eagles are gonna have yellow Gatorade. You heard it here first.
All right.
I think they find a bucket that they know is going to be good for a photo.
Probably.
If they have the ability, like if it's a blowout. They're not grabbing the first one. They're like, this is the one we're going to dump.
Yeah, they're like they have like a backup Gatorade bucket.
It's like, we're not drinking
just
out of
for
this
throwing.
one. Yeah, we're not drinking out of this one. This is the throw bucket.
It always is pretty full.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
I know, like shockingly full.
I mean, there's people's jobs to keep it full on the sideline, but at the same time, like,
do you think it's a conspiracy? Do you think Gatorade makes sure that it's filled? Like Gatorade provides a Gatorade bucket filled with Gatorade
for tossing
for the dump.
Yeah.
No.
Could be.
Maybe, but
I mean, the entire season is scripted, so why not this?
True.
That's what I'm saying. I think it could be in the script. You never know. Small detail.
You got
Props
the
department.
You got the wrong script this year, Pat.
This is the propaganda extravaganza, and I did get the wrong script. I love those memes, like Tom Brady when Matt Ryan walked into the Super Bowl script reading. Incredible,
It's fantastic.
And it's like when he turns around at the Bruce Arians press response. Yeah, amazing. Okay, I told you this is going to be the longest podcast ever. I was joking, and then it was. So I think it's time for us to go. We're just kind of holding on.
Yeah, we're trying to squeeze everything we can out of football content while we're at it.
I already miss football, and it's not officially over yet.
Facts.
All right, we will be back after the Super Bowl to break it all down. We'll talk about all the other things that we want to talk about. We'll probably go 17 hours on that one because we're not gonna see guys. This is crazy. Like we're not gonna see or talk to each other until August. What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen by then?
I feel like we will see each other and talk to each other, but
I'm kidding. Of course we will.
The fans won't see us talking to each other.
No, they won't. Maybe we'll just show up in like April to talk about the Red Sox on the 3-Man Rush podcast.
Or the draft.
Or yeah, okay, football. Fair enough. Draft. None of us care. All right. Anyway. Great. Tom, you want to take us out?
Yes, for the final time this year, and for everybody that is sending Vegas buku bucks, good luck at your local sports book, please. Good luck and good fun.
I love football.
I miss you guys.
I love you guys.
Super Bowl trophy.
What's like a sad Rihanna song? Stay. I want you to stay.
I want you to stay.
I want you to stay.
Your singing might get us copyrighted though.
Bye.
Mac Jones, 2024 Super Bowl MVP.
Yikes.